is up, everybody? Hello. Welcome back to the stream. Now I want to play Chrono Trigger. Oh, I play Chrono Trigger probably about once every 3 to 4 years, probably around closer to 4 years or so. I dig out the game and play it. It is my favorite RPG of all time. It's a lot of fun. It's great story, outstanding music. I mean, for a Super Nintendo soundtrack, it's got over like 2.5 hours of music. And when they put it on CD, it's like either 3 or 4 CDs. It is great stuff. But unfortunately, with my position is that like RPGs are just not fun to watch on Twitch. It's more of a fun thing to do yourself, so that's why I haven't streamed any yet. What's up, Ronnie? Good to see you. So, there's like a quick little flash sale going on PlayStation 4, and the game, one of them that's on sale, is Hollow Knight. And this is the Void Heart Edition. It's basically all the DLC, and I bought it for $9.89. So I was like, yeah, I might as well get it. Asked a couple people in my Bayonetta speedrunning Discord, if it's any good or not, and they're like, yes, it's really good. It's like Metroid. It's a Metroidvania type game. So if you enjoy like the Super Metroid type games or Castlevania Symphony of the Night, then you'll pretty much like this game from what I've been told. So I'm looking forward to it. Never played it before, haven't really seen much on it, so a lot of blind stuff here. Okay, that seems okay. Vibration off, go to hell. That's good to hear. I've heard it's a good one, but you never really know, so... I know a lot of people who have this game have it on the Switch, not the PlayStation 4, which is what I'm playing this on. So... And the thing is, like, I've also seen about the PlayStation 4, not the PlayStation 4, the Switch Pro controllers, is that it has a problem with the down directional input on the D-pad. So you actually have to go through and like physically take apart your controller, do a modification or to fix it. Because people are like, one of the big things I've heard about this game is that later on there's an attack where you need to hit down on the D-pad. And the Switch will occasionally just register it as up instead because it's screwed up. So it's one reason why I didn't buy it for the Switch. The target so I get the PlayStation Classic. I don't know. Like I said, my stance on that is to basically save your money on the PlayStation Classic and don't support Sony for it because they're still getting money. And everything you can do on that, RetroArch does better for free. So that's my position on it. But I mean, if you want to have like a console that you can take and plug into your TV or a friend's house with ease instead of lugging around a computer, I can understand that too. But yeah, it's super hackable. I mean, they kept most of the emulator stuff in there. So if you have like a compatible keyboard, it's like like a one Logitech type and something else. They're kind of obscure-ish keyboard models. You can plug it directly into the USB drive, and I think you hit the escape key and it'll bring up the basic emulation options right there without even having to hack it. Yeah, my Walmart has PlayStation Classics, and they're still trying to sell them for $100. They haven't discounted them at all. So last I saw, Amazon was selling them for like $60. For me, it's never going to be cheap enough for me to own personally. So that's the thing too, is like they're supposed to have it marked down, but like I said, the Walmart here in Erie does not have it marked down at all. We have 3 Walmarts here, and 2 of them did not have it. The other one, you just don't go to that Walmart. We call it Ghetto Mart. It's like the most ghetto place you'll ever be. Yeah, so apparently this is the problem on the Switch, this downward attack. Because the D-pad on the Switch Pro controller apparently is busted. And it's something I've never run across because when you play Bayonetta 2, you don't use the down D-pad button at all. You use up, left, and right, so... Okay, so no double jump. Unstable frame rate. Perfect. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Your great strength marks you amongst us. Focus your soul and you can achieve feats of which others can only dream. Collect soul by striking enemies. Once enough soul is collected, hold circle, focus soul, and heal. It's kind of like Ori, I guess. Thought I heard something musical. Nope. Okay. Oh, nice. So you have a slight... You don't stop on a dime. You have an extra foot or so when you let go of the control. Like, let go now. You still go forward a little bit. It's not very slidey. I mean, it's not like ice physics or anything like that crazy, but it's noticeable. Not game breaking by any means. Also, seems enemies flip you backwards too on impact, like with your sword even. Nope, that was actually Agent Handy. That was Nimix who did it. Basically, when we went to premiere the task for it, basically he's having computer problems, so I pulled it up on my computer and hosted it for my stream. But actually, talking about that, it finally got posted. But I did commentary that day for it because I was hosting on my channel, and for whatever reason, the microphone didn't pick it up on the recording, but people who were there could hear me live, which is interesting. So, yep. So I'm glad to hear, like, finally, it took, like, forever, unfortunately, for his task to get approved. I mean, they voted for it and then, like, just sat around and did nothing for, like, almost 2 months. But it finally got approved and put up there and got Moon's category, which is good. It means it's, like, a noticeable improvement and entertaining, so that's good to see. Well, you should definitely upload it. I love a good task. Oh, crap. Really, game? Come on. Now, I've thought about doing a task myself, but I just don't have, like, the energy and the time related to do it. Actually, I have the time, but just not really the energy to do it myself. Oh yeah, he did a lot of crazy stuff. Nimix was giving me, like, he was giving me updates as he was working on it, like, the first time originally, and then, like, his updated one. And he's just like, dude, I found all this crazy stuff. I'm like, holy cow. And he's, like, telling me, like, frame updates, like, how many things he'd managed to find and cut on top of it, the frames. It got pretty wild. But Ronnie, Onimusha. Oh, I downloaded that. And I was like, oh, cool, Onimusha. I wonder if this game holds up as well as I remember it, and it didn't really for me. It looked nice, the PC version. I'm like, all right, cool, and it's like, it's still like a 3-hour game, 4 hours if you've never been through it before, but if you know what you're doing, you can beat it in like 3 hours. Code Veronica EXO, actually, I like that a lot. It's, in my opinion, one of the most underrated Resident Evil games of the franchise. I love Code Veronica. Yep, so I decided to get the game, Gamora. Like I said, it's been highly recommended, I'm finding it's kind of weird with the movement. Like, you let go of moving forward and you still take another step forward. And I'm playing on a gaming monitor, so it's not lag. So it's like, interesting. But yeah, it's not too bad so far. Higher beings, these words for you alone. Beyond this point, enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom. Let me in! Vader at the gate. I also noticed, like, your sword makes contact, it also pushes you back too, so you got bounce back. So if you're trying to platform and swing at something, you gotta be real careful, because that can just knock you right back. Knock you right off the ledge when you're just trying to land and attack something that's coming at you. Okay, I can swing up too. No horizontals, just up, down, left, right. Dirtmouth. The fading town. Our town's quite quiet, fallen quiet, you see. Other residents have disappeared, headed down that well one by one into the caverns below. That's what I've heard. This game can get quite challenging, so with the mechanics you're fighting against already, like you let go of the button, you're still taking an extra step forward and bounce back on your sword, it'll be really intriguing. I didn't get it for the Switch because I've mentioned a couple times already, the D-pad for the Pro Controller has known problems. Did not work right unless you go through and modify it yourself. It'll occasionally read down as either left or up, which is really weird. So I decided, you know, it's on sale for the PlayStation 4. I'll get it for that instead. My Switch will continue to sit and gather dust. It used to be a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long fell to ruin, yet still draws folks to its depths. Wealth, glory, enlightenment. That darkness seems to promise all things. I'm sure you two seek dreams down there. Watch out, the sickly air fills the place. Creatures turn mad and travelers are robbed of their memories. Oh, sounds like a great place. Perhaps dreams aren't such a great things after all. So I'm guessing that probably also saves the game as well. Looks like there's a save icon. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Mapping supplies will be opening soon. Yeah, and the thing is, like, the only game I have on my Switch is Bayonetta 1 and 2, and that's it. And, of course, like, down on the D-pads are not used in either one of those games, to my knowledge. I know for 2 it's definitely not. But, so it never came into play, but I know in this game that the downward attack is something that you're going to have to use quite frequently. So I was like, okay, well, let's just not bother with that then. I don't feel like taking apart my Pro Controller just to modify it to play one game, so... That and, like, the Switch controller, the Joy-Cons, I am not a fan of at all. Nintendo just does not know how to design controllers anymore. Pardon me, and for me, that pretty much, that opinion started with the GameCube controller. I mean, that thing is just a wreck. And people are like, oh, it's the best controller ever! I'm like, okay. Tell me, what was your first video game console you owned or played as a kid? GameCube? Well, there you go. You know, it's like you're kind of a little biased towards it, but... I mean, it's got weird, funky layouts. The shoulder is really bizarre. Like, you have to, like, really click it all the way in. But the Joy-Cons are... If you have large, meaty hands, we'll call it, like I do, the Joy-Cons are just way too small to use at all. I mean, it's like... Especially like the controller, like, so you have it like set up, even the default little slider weird thing they have, like the right analog stick's digging right into your thumb. And they're not, it's not a D-pad on top of it, it's separate buttons, so you don't have a D-pad at all. Yeah, I would have to agree, the Super Nintendo is probably one of the best controllers that Nintendo has made. People really rag on the Nintendo 64 controller, but I thought that one was not bad at all. Because usually people I've talked to said, like, it's terrible. And then, like, you know, I asked him, like, how do they hold their controller, and it turns out they were holding it completely wrong for, like, years. Like, they were trying to play analog games while not grabbing the middle analog stick. They were, like, trying to reach over where the D-pad was on the left and reach all the way over with their thumb halfway across the controller, and then try to, like, reach their pinky down underneath to hit the Z button. I'm like, you're supposed to grab the middle stick. It shows you in several diagrams in the controllers, on the boxes, everything, like, you need to hold it this way. When I first got to play the Nintendo 64 from Japan, it was like I knew how to do it then, and it wasn't even out here in the States for another 3 months. But I mean, what I liked about, like, the Nintendo 64 controllers, it also had the 6 buttons. Like, the C buttons were still laid out. They were like Street Fighter style, like 3 on top, 3 on bottom. The Saturn did, like, the same thing for the Sega Genesis, of course, with their 6-button controller variant later on in the Genesis lifetime. So, but, like, if I had to pick, like, favorite retro controller, I would probably have to go Sega Saturn. If I were to, like, to pick one overall. The Dreamcast controller, I didn't really mind too much. I just think, like, a lot of people got spoiled with the DualShock setup for the PlayStation. All of a sudden you go from 2 to 1. That was kind of a weird step back from Sega. Go, hey, 2 analog sticks seems to be the rage, and everyone's doing that. We're doing 1 analog stick. We're going to copy it off our old Saturn 3D controller. It's like, why? Other than that, I never really had problems with that controller. Alright, let's focus on the game instead of my ranting about controllers for retro consoles. Hello there, come down to explore these beautiful old ruins? Don't mind me. I have a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your way again is a pleasure like no other. We're exclusively lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade. I'm working on mapping this area right now. Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? Yeah, sure. Since I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing, why not? Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's, I want to say, let me take a look real quick before I say something really stupid, which is, I'm bound to say something stupid, but I mean stupider. Yeah, so it's kind of like the Famicom, like the original Japanese Famicom had like the wires going out like the side of the controller is where the D-pad was, just about is where the original controller would come out, the cable would. So it's like, huh, so, and then, you know, Sega puts it on the bottom instead of on the top, which would make it easier, you know, to reach closer to the console itself, but it's like, But at least, though, I will say that the Dreamcast, even with the cable coming out the bottom, the cable is still longer than the controller length that comes with the NES and Super Nintendo Classics. Those things are a joke. Yeah, it definitely seems like the map is going to be my friend in this type of game. Any type of, like, Metroidvania exploration game is definitely going to require you to have a map. And of course, I need to find his wife in order to buy a compass so I can know probably where I'm at, because this isn't telling me a lot of anything, really. It's really weird to see frame rate drops on this. Yeah, and that was like the weirdest thing ever. Like, you know, to have this stupidly short cable. And then it's like, so people have like, usually have like a 42-inch or bigger television screen, to my knowledge. It seems to be like big, 42 inches or bigger is the size for a lot of people's televisions. And then you have this thing, you have this console which has like a 3.5 foot long cable, just about 3.5, 4 foot cable. So you have to get stupidly close to your television. So you're too close. It's just like, God, Nintendo's just really dropped the ball continually these past years, past decade or two. Knock back. This is gonna get frustrating real quick. So it's like one of the things, like I was playing. No, not really. It's just like what happened there is basically I stepped off. Like I said, this game has a problem that your momentum carries forward. So when you let go of the button to move forward, you still walk forward another extra step. So unless I am constantly like basically trying to jump and then like walk forward and instantly hit back to move back a step, I'm just gonna keep walking off stuff until I just learn to not hit the button to go too far. It's got a momentum carry. At least it's not like the Messenger, which was frustrating me to no end. I was playing that last night, and that game just sucks you, like, at least on PC. I've heard it's really good on Switch. I haven't heard anybody complain about it on the Switch, but on PC, the A button for jumping is busted. Like, you'll hit it once and either you'll start to glide or it won't come out at all. And then, like, you'll be near a wall and you'll just, like, suck to it like a magnet. Like, if you've ever played Infamous on PlayStation 3, it just, like, sucks you right onto the wall or to a railing. So, like, you'll get pulled down to death. Also in that game, like, spikes are also really weird in that, like, either they'll outright kill you like Mega Man. Like, one hit, just, like, you'll have full 5-hit life bar. You'll hit the spikes once and you'll die just straight off. Other times you'll hit the exact same spike and you'll only lose, like, 1 or 2 health and you're still alive. So it's even, like, the spikes killing you is inconsistent. If they had gotten those things fixed, I think it would have been okay. It's not too hard of a game. It's a good platformer, but if you play it on PC at least, you know, that seems to be the problems I've looked up and found other people were having the same problems I was. I haven't heard about it having that issue on the Switch, however. So Switch might be the way to do it, but I mean, I encountered those problems playing it on PC. Short one, strong look about you. Quirrell. Not squirrel, but Quirrell. Obsession with uncharted places. Ancient Kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. Stone egg lying in the corpse of Ancient Kingdom, and this egg, is it warm? Certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? Strange marks all over it. Well, at least if you die like that, you can retain your map, so it looks like anything you have there will be retained. Yeah, a lot of people love their Switches, and for me, I only own, like I said, I own Bayonetta, and that's it. Bayonetta 1 and 2, and that's all I really care to own. Eventually I'll get Bayonetta 3 when it comes out, but everything else that, like, I want to get is either not on the Switch, like a newer game like Resident Evil 2 I want to get when that eventually comes out at the end of the week, which I don't have money to buy, so I will not be buying. But, you know, it's like, it seems like a lot of things just don't come to the Switch because it's just underpowered. It's just the way it is. It's what Nintendo's decided to do. Continue to keep doing. I want to see something. It always irks me, like, you go and you see something and like a new game comes out and people are like screaming, bring it to the Switch, bring it to the Switch. I'm like, the Switch is weaker than an Xbox 360. It's like, why in the world would somebody try to bother porting a brand new game to over, at this point, yeah, this point, 14-year-old technology? It makes no sense. So, I mean, unless the game is, like, specifically designed for it, it's just like, just buy it for whatever it's coming out on. For me, recently that seems to be mostly PC that I've been kind of focusing more on. I think I went this way last time. Let's go down. More money! Right, and that's the thing too, because I mean, I've gone on like, I'm known for going on long Nintendo rants. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, people buy Nintendo systems for their exclusive games. It's like, and the problem is that Nintendo doesn't realize that people do that. It's like, you need, like, this is the first time that I've seen them in a while that they actually launched with a Zelda game that people really want to play Zelda. Because other times they're like, hey, it's like when the Wii U came out, I knew people who bought it day one. They're like, yeah, Zelda's gonna be great on this game, and like they bought it wanting to play Zelda, a game that hadn't even been announced yet at that point. So that's why I'm always like, don't buy it for. I mean, if you're waiting for exclusives, they do make good exclusive games, like in their first priorities or IPs. But it's like you're gonna be waiting a long time for that to happen, for them to finally make them. I mean, people are still like going crazy, like, oh my god, like Metroid Prime 4, and then they were upset they didn't hear anything at this year's E3 or any type of Nintendo Directs about it. Because when they showed it off last year, all they had was just a title card, which if you only have a title card for it and it's just a generic, we're making the game statement, it's like you're going to be waiting a long time for that to happen. Which is why I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen anything about Bayonetta 3 yet, because they had a cinematic. And usually if you have a cinematic trailer, you have a little bit more at that point in development, and they still haven't shown anything over a year later. And that's the thing, like, and the Switch is, like, becoming, because the Switch is popular, it's selling, it's already outsold the Wii U, it's a lot better than the Wii U has been at this point. So what they're doing now, it seems like a lot of games are getting straight ported from the Wii U to the Switch, because people are going to be able to play the games now. I mean, almost nobody had a Wii U. So now Nintendo's point is like, hey, people actually own a Switch. We can take these games that may not have sold too well on the Wii U and just port them over, and it's instant seller. And they've done that already with like Donkey Kong and New Super Mario Brothers Wii U. I mean, that just came out. That's just a straight port of the Wii U version itself. So it's also starting to become almost like a port machine while people are still waiting for more games to come out for the system. More original games. There was like some kind of mech game I remember like was going to be coming out for it, for the Switch. It looked kind of interesting, and I haven't heard or seen anything about it. I'll have to look it up to see what it's called. Ah, great. See, risk versus reward. It's not rewarded for that. Okay, so certain parts here that enemies will just lock it up. Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, Mario Kart 8 got ported as well. Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, I think it was. It's one of the Donkey Kong Country games just got ported too. 1 second. Then you got New Super Mario Brothers as well. Bayonetta, technically that's a port. Bayonetta 1 port is again. So it just seems like a lot of kind of games that were on the Wii U just didn't do well are now being ported over the Switch. Which is fine, but I mean, I also have the same kind of stance I have as well. Applies to modern ports as well. Like you'll have like HD remasters of games that came out for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Like Devil May Cry, the DMC that everybody freaks out about but didn't really play. I mean, everyone's like, hey, it's like, yeah, that got ported over. It's like, the game came out 3 years before at that point. No real need to port it because it's already in high definition. It's just basically you're making it so more people might possibly play it at that instance. What I found is kind of interesting about, like, speaking of like ports and other things. Really, I died? Nice. Is Neo Geo games are actually getting ported and getting a lot more of attention for some reason. It's like Windjammers got a resurgence. Windjammers is a great game. I wish I owned that for my MVS system, but it's too expensive. Please sell me a compass. You stink. Okay, so if you die, you lose money. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I should have noticed that you do not retain any of the money you're getting. Skyward Sword being remastered, I would possibly be okay with if you, by remastering it or porting it, you get rid of motion controls. I hate the Wii for that reason. Like I said, the Wii was a console that people seem to enjoy. I worked retail at the time at Walmart. I was the I was like department manager of electronics, so I got to deal with all the shovelware on the Wii, but I could not play that system because of my fibromyalgia. Like, just even like wiggling your wrists around wears me out. So, and everything was like motion controls for that game, so I really couldn't play a lot of it, but so much of the Wii was just shovelware. Pardon me. But from what I remember hearing about, like, my brother, he bought Skyward Sword, and he was just like, he's like, motion controls are the devil. Alright, let's see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. This is my view on motion controls. Mega 64 nailed it a long time ago. 9 years ago, just about. And it's like motion controls are still not where they need to be. They're just not there. Okay, it's Temple of the Black Egg, still got nothing there. But it's like motion controls just still don't do it. I mean, you remember like Xbox One launched with the Kinect. They got rid of it pretty quickly because they realized people don't want this POS gimmick. It's like motion controls just do not work. They are too laggy, too much open to interpretation for movement. It still doesn't work at this point in time. Which is why Microsoft wisely kind of went, okay, well, we should probably stop doing that. But the Wii was also an example of why Miyamoto should not be involved with things anymore, like the Wii and then the Wii U. Because Miyamoto, he went from like game developer to like basically, okay, I want to create a game that does these unique things, and then he starts focusing on gimmicks instead. It's literally, he doesn't make games unless he can do something to improve upon it. Like, what can we cram in to get it? And that's exactly why we ended up with the Wii U. Oh, you were a bad guy. Okay, good to know. I will run away. I was thinking, maybe he's a character I can talk to. And no, that was not correct. So, I mean, like, literally, Miyamoto was behind the design for the Wii U, having the tablet controller so you can look at it, and that was his whole idea. Like, games had to incorporate this. It's going to be the big thing. Nobody cared about it at all. Nobody wanted it. It was not really asked for. It was a neat kind of idea concept, but it didn't really work out. Gimmicks do not work. And then he had his Star Fox game he was working on forever. And the Nintendo playtesters kept telling him, like, this game is not fun, trying to have to look at your controller, look at your Wii U tablet, then look at the screen to see where you're flying, and then having to look back down on your lap to see where you're shooting at. It's not fun, it's not working. He didn't want to hear it. He's like, nope, we have to have it this way. They offered, like, we can patch in controls, we can do all these different things here to make the game, like, better. He's like, no, you have to do it my way, you have to have a gimmick. After the Wii U bombed, Nintendo reorganized, like, shifted things around, so Miyamoto's no longer involved with console design, thankfully. Because he's still trying to think on gimmicks. There was a video on YouTube that came out, this guy did, it was called, what happened, yeah, what was it, whatever happened to F-Zero? Here we go. What happened to F-Zero? And it's pretty well researched, actually. And one of the things he does bring up, like, later towards the end part of it, because he was going through and pulling up these different interviews and articles that they've done with Miyamoto, and he's been brought up the ability to make F-Zero again for the new consoles. He won't do it because he can't think of ways to put gimmicks into it. It's like, he's like, people want the game? I didn't really know. I didn't think it was popular, but we have to think of a way to work our new gimmicks into it. He literally said, quote unquote, gimmicks. It's like, no. Abandon gimmicks, go with gameplay. It's what people want. There's no real gimmick to this type of game I'm playing right now. It's tired and true. It's a Metroid type-vania exploration. You know, just go through and explore. You don't need to have, like, the PlayStation 4 controller I'm using right now has a touchpad on it. Nobody uses it. I can't think of anything that does use it, really. Except for, like, the few launch games. But, I mean, you don't need it for this, so it doesn't require it. Oh, are you good or bad? Okay, you're good. Bury my mother, bury my father, bury two sisters. When you're done, bury me too. That's a good chipper song. So what are you doing down here for? Game get wealthy, just look around you, bursting with riches. Play for everybody, pick a pickaxe and join. Am I doing it? Neat. I have no idea what the heck this is. Okay, it's refilling my magic. Got it. Guessing there's probably something I'll have to come back later for some kind of special attack. Everything must be destroyed. Alright, here we go. More money. Really, game? Nice. Hit by the spike, bounced right back into this. Yeah, it's really weird, but this game is dropping frames. It's not OBS, like, it's going from, like, 60 or 30, like, down to much lower. I'm pretty sure this is, like, a 30 frames per second game. It doesn't look to be 60. But it looks like it's dropping from, like, 30 to 20 at certain parts. Hey, Nimix. Everyone dies. Some sooner than others. Okay. So you don't get much in the way of iframes either. It's like right now this game's starting to feel like a lot more kind of like Dead Cells. It's like you're just like, you get one save point and it's where you start off when you die, and then that's pretty much it. Okay, crying dude again. Okay.
Papa nada.
Okay, so I need to grind up for a little bit more to see. Everything is like, unfortunately, like, bad guys do not give you a lot of money. So, need this one at least to see where, like, find out where the benches are so you can save your game. Where, like, spawn points. Mark spots on the map. Draw new areas as you explore. Or the compass, which is, I really need the compass more than anything else. So it just seems like so far, unless I'm mistaken, just basically grind killing enemies until you can buy stuff from the shop constantly, so you can start exploring. It's gonna get old real quick. And can't get to it just yet. Guess they counted people going back and grinding, so I was like, okay, this one's not too bad for money. You know, there's a bigger guy, you can get more money from it, but they take him out the second time you come back, so... Try to avoid grinding, I guess, grinding exploits. Pilgrims away. Travelers of Hollow Nest descend through verdant wilds and fungal groves to the city of his kingdom's heart. There all wishes shall be granted, all truths revealed. For me. Yeah, okay, can't get past this guy yet. Unless I can hit his attacks back. No, I cannot. Nope. This game's got really funky hitboxes too. It's not like, not necessarily like really bad, but you'll trade hits sometimes when you think you're not going to. Throws you off just a little bit. Set the bad guys. God, I can only imagine how fun speedruns of this game are. I'm sure like they found a way to round the grinding part to get what they need quicker. Because like I'm all for like exploration games, but like if you get to the point where you need to like grind out for like a good hour in order to buy things like like a map to tell you where you're going or where anything is, then you got a problem. You have a design problem. And if you die, you also lose all your money, so all the hard-fought stuff that you're trying to get will be gone. Yeah, I can imagine like speedruns might be interesting in this, but like right now it's just like, good God. They're probably playing completely and totally underpowered, I would imagine, too, if you're doing a speedrun of this game. Because, I mean, like I said, you die, you lose all the money you're saving up. And you need 200, and these guys only give out $2 to $3 each kill you make. There's not an RPG system so far that I've seen about leveling up, at least. Not like Ori in the Blind Forest, where you'd level up. Yeah, it seems like it'd be very, very tricky to do. Yeah, your boss guy can't really get past. Because you need something like to duck you in and out, and you don't have anything like that right now. You got two buttons, you got jump, and you got swing. And tell you, just like, if you're grinding like this long, you're not making any progress or leveling up like you would in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, to me that's just boring. And like I said, in this game, it's starting to bore me. If this is just all it's going to be, it's just grinding for this long, for hours on end, just to find things that can basically try to explore the game world. But everyone's like, kisses its butt, like, this is an amazing game. It's like, unless there's something like major I'm missing here that I'm not cluing in on. Well, I'm sure there are, but just like, but then my question is like, do you have to? You probably have to explore and beat a boss in order to get them. But I mean, like at this point in the time in the game, like you're underpowered. You get bounced back quite a lot. I'm having to kill the same people over and over and over because it's unsafe to explore, and I don't know where I'm going without it. And if you die, if you take the risk of trying to explore where you are, you might stumble across a save point, you might not, and then you lose all the money you've been trying to save up to buy something just so you can see where a save point is, or where you're at on the map, or even adding to the map if you're exploring someplace new, because this doesn't tell you anything. Nice. Okay, so if you're in the pause menu, the world does not pause. Good to know. Yes, if you do the... So if you're in this, everything still functions. Let's see. Hollow Knight. So there's spells you can learn eventually. Yeah, so there's like spells and abilities that you can learn later on, but it's nothing you have now. There's no moves or anything that I've seen so far. Like, the quick information I pulled up is like, yeah, these are things you get later on in the game. It's like, well, okay, that doesn't help me now, though. So like I said, this is like grinding in an RPG, but you don't get to level up. Hey, 200, finally I can buy something from the store. Yeah, there's a healing mechanic, so, like, basically, like, you have your little magic gauge. in the upper left corner there, like the little eye of the like the floating liquid in there. So you can hold down and start recovering your life a little bit. You know, the more you have filling in there, and that's it. That's all you start off with. Like I said, but the ability to special moves or anything else like that, movement abilities, didn't forgot to hit the jump. You don't have anything like that whatsoever, at least right now. You probably might get it later on, but I mean, you are naked as can be. And the game forces you so far, like I said, to grind everything out, because it's not safe to explore, because I started going through and exploring, trying to see what I could find, maybe stumble across a save. Nothing.
Papa nada.
220, of course it is. So the game punishes you for trying to explore at this point. It's forcing you to grind like an RPG, and this is like, for me, is just as annoying as Persona 5 is. I know people are like, oh god, Persona 5 is the best game ever. Well, why is that? It has such great style and music. Okay, but what about the gameplay? What's gameplay? It's like, yeah, that's my problem with the game. You start off the game, Persona 5, you do one battle, you're super overpowered, the fight is over in less than 10 seconds on average, like 10-15 seconds, and then you don't do anything for the next 6 hours, from what I've been told. Because I went through and I was like, when do I get to do something? I've talked to people who played through the game and got really far, and they're like, oh, you don't have any other battles until like 6 hours into the game. And like, I quit playing the game around 3.5 hour mark. I was like, okay, that's it. I'm just tired of hearing how I'm the world's worst person non-stop. It's like, is there any gameplay elements I get to do other than just read a visual novel? They're like, no, that's the entire game. Isn't this fun? I'm like, screw you. Took the game out of the PlayStation 4. It's been sitting on my shelf for over a year now. It had good music. It looked really stylish. Like I said, I agree with people on that, but definitely not the game. It's more of a visual novel than anything else at this point, really. It's like Final Fantasy 13. People are like, it's a good game after you play the game for like 30 hours, then it becomes fun. It's like, if you have to play anything for 30 hours before it becomes quote-unquote fun, it's not a good game. I hope so, that'd be nice, but I mean, I've backtracked to a couple places already where I've died before and there was nothing. But now I can buy a compass. Now I can see where exactly it is I'm trying to go.
Papa nada.
Yay, look at that, I can see where I'm at now. Huzzah! So now how much to find other things like rest stops, or probably the best thing now would be the quill. Would be the next best upgrade. At least it fills in the map where you explore, because right now you can explore way past in what's being shown here and you'll never know it. Alright, so I have 16 health right here, 16 money. Let's test out the theory about dying. Okay, so you have to come back and fight your soul and get your money back. Okay. Well, that's an improvement. Thank goodness. Okay, been down there. That's just the mine. I think I've been back this way yet. That's right, or I have, because I can't tell, because you don't get the ability to see where you're going yet. That's not the other one. Like I said, the only problem is though is I can't understand the guy with my hearing loss. It's just like it's just way too out of my vocal range for what I can hear. So I know it's like it's subtitled, but it's still it's not really something I can really enjoy. So it's like trying to watch it with the sound off. It's like it kind of loses its novelty. Or this guy will charge. Yep. Cool, so spikes do kill them too. Neat. Does that in public? That would be more entertaining. Come back, money, I need you. Three months, and still don't have any cool things to show for you. I'm sorry. But Nimix wins so far with being the most subscribed person. I gotta find a, I'm thinking Dr. Nick would be a good emote. He's my favorite Simpsons character. Like, I don't have anything like that this thing is like known for, like my stream, like Yellow Killer Bee has a bee. Wurzel, I am a obscure sci-fi character from the 1930s that George Lucas ripped off to make Star Wars. Doesn't really make for much of a good icon, I don't think. Maybe it does, maybe I don't know. True. I don't know though, but do people really subscribe for icons? I really don't know, to be honest. Not being sarcastic or sardonic or anything like that, I'm like, do people do that? I only subbed like YKB and that was it. And she has not been streaming for some time. She has been busy with life, which is entirely understandable. No, don't kick the money. I need the money. Grinding. The game. The experience. With no experience points.
Bapanada.
Yeah, you said it exactly. Big sigh. Okay, cool. So I don't have to add the quill, it looks like, so that's good to know. Destroy everything! I have a feeling they put that in here just so you can, like, destroy things to see, like, hey, you can have something to do, finally, while you're just going through and backtracking. So, yeah, so this game has already bored the crap out of me. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop playing Hollow Knight because it's just not fun. It is not a good game. If people are willing to sit here and just, like, grind it out for hours on end with no real reward to it, you might find it interesting, but for me, it's not my type of game. So for me, that was like $10 wasted, but at least it wasn't like 20 bucks or something, because that would have been even more of a kick to the pants. So let's do something instead. Let's play something that'll be more entertaining, more fun, so to speak. Let's play a game that did things right. Did exploration, leveling systems. You didn't have to grind a whole lot. But it was a lot of fun. It's not in here, really? Interesting. Yeah, just a second, I gotta get extracted first. Well, yeah, it's like the same thing like with Yakuza 0. Everyone's like, this game's amazing, and the game's got horribly busted controls to the point where you just start swinging at nothing, or your controller will be dead for 5 seconds because you're trying to switch styles and you do nothing. It's just like the game is horribly broken. Now, Judge Eyes, I just uploaded my playthrough. The Japanese demo for that is a lot of fun. They fixed all the problems with Yakuza 0 in that game, so I'm looking forward to possibly buying that when it comes out later this year. But I mean, Hollow Knight is just, my god, it is so freaking grindy. It's grinding with no rewards, and that for me, that is like the ultimate insult. Where you're asked to go through and just spend all this ridiculous amount of time with like the hopes of like maybe you might be able to do something later on. Because I mean, you're not leveling up, you're not getting experience points out of it. You have to do like about 350 bug points in order to like get the basic most necessary things of building a map, which other games like Super Metroid does for you automatically by exploration. And the thing is, with Super Metroid, even the first time running through it, you got lost, but you were gaining things along the way. You'd find super missiles, you would find normal missiles, upgrades for your weapons. You would come across all these things organically, and it was not punishing you for trying to do it. Hollow Knight is just like, here, we want you to do RPG grinding to make our games seem longer, but like not have anything behind it. I mean, if you're getting stronger so your stuff did more damage, that would be more understandable, but it doesn't do that at all. Here we go, updated. And that for me is like the biggest like slap like insult of all, is that like you don't do anything in Hollow Knight. And when I look things up, you get spells for like beating bosses along the way, but there's no upgrading your weapons. There's no reward to do anything really. Let's see, this might, I think vertex catching might screw up the menus. We'll see in a second. Nope, looks good. There we go. So yeah, like I said, Super Metroid rewards you for exploration, and then like Hollow Knight just punishes you for it for no reason. It makes no sense. Right, and I like games like that. Like I said, especially like the Metroidvania games, like, or basically like the Castlevania games copied from, like, starting with this one. The Game Boy Advance games of the Castlevania games were kind of like Metroid almost. A lot of exploration, like finding new abilities and hidden secrets and things like that nature. So a lot of games have copied the Super Metroid formula. Quite successfully, too. Yeah, so it's doing some funky shimmering on the stairs here. Let's see. Take care of that. Options. Let's see if that does it. Oh, still shimmering. Okay. Might just have abandoned that, which is not a problem. I mean, this is like things like if you fire up Dino Crisis. I mean, those two options make the game look really amazing. There we go, no more shimmer. Come on, Richter, you can do it. For me, like, the last game that actually had like a lot of exploration that I really enjoyed playing was Nier Automata. That was like a lot of fun to go through because you would just find things in the middle of the desert,
monster.
and Easter eggs and things like that.
In this world.
It was not
I
by
really
my
enjoyed
hand
that game.
That I'm once
Love
again
it.
given flesh. I was called here by
Humans.
who wish to pay me tribute.
Sadly, the PlayStation 4 version of this game
You steal men's souls.
doesn't
and
have
make
this
them your
version of the auto
slaves.
anymore. It got rid of it. They redubbed it from the PSP and copied that instead.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk.
How about you? And you know, that is like the biggest problem, as you mentioned, like you can't recreate it. It's like, yeah, that's the biggest problem with any game, really. Especially if it's a great game. You know, you can only get to play it brand new one time. Plus, I mean, who cannot love a game where you get to hurl religious hurl religious objects at people? This was a press start to play. Great movie. Love that movie to death. Because if you're ever looking for a silly little indie movie to watch about video games, like old school video games, and just how the logic doesn't work in the real world, that's definitely the movie to watch. Like, it was probably shot on like for a budget of like possibly like $5,000 to $10,000, I would probably say, but it's got a lot of humor to it. Early on in the movie, the character Zack Nimbus gets into a fight, and like everyone's standing around, and they're all standing in a line like Final Fantasy. You hear like battle music play. All of a sudden, one of the bad guys runs up to one of their friends, just hits him in the face. It's like, why did you let him hit you? The guy's like, it was his turn. it's things like that just make you crack up about it. So if you can get past like the no budget movie there, it's a lot of fun to watch. Plus, they also make fun of the Virtual Boy in that movie, too. They call it the Virtual Visor. The guy gets it for free in one of the shops. And every single time he uses it, it's supposed to show you where you need to go, but each time he puts it on, it just wrecks his eyes and gives him a horrible headache. Just like the Virtual Boy did for people. It's great. Whoa. Stab you in the butt. Now check this out. Experience 46. 51. I get in the next 49 more points. I get a level up. Now 44. It's amazing. And already this game's better than Hollow Knight. Now, a long time ago, I used to be able to do the glitch where you can get knocked all the way past where death steals all your weapons and moves. But sadly, that was like 20 years ago, and I've never really practiced it since. And I've pretty much forgotten how to do it. Sure, I could look it up to figure out how to do it, but meh. So I should be just about ready to level up. Then I go forward. There we go. Onward! I forget that, like, I have a shield in this game for a lot of times. Like, it completely skips my mind a lot of times that I have something like that, usually later on, too.
Alucard, what is your business here?
Are you aware your name is Dracula spelled backwards?
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
All my goodies! By the way, if you ever do the glitch to skip death taking all your stuff, if you fall down here, it will trigger it. So, yeah, you have to be real careful of that section. Yay, a weapon! Gosh, what was it? I think it was Rom Scout who did it. It was like a little mini AGDQ event. And he played this game blindfolded, which was absolutely amazing to watch. I mean, I thought like Punch-Out blindfolded and Super Punch-Out was something that would be really cool, and it was. But then like to see like Symphony of the Night played blindfolded was absolutely just shocking. Here for Zoe, which now means that things will drop items for me. Aha, I got it anyway. Equip. Another shield. Nope, okay. A little bit too soon. Aha, stay there. There's another short sword, so I think you can... Okay, you can't double it. I'm thinking that'd be cool, like if you can double it together. Like, what was it? It was one of the DS games. Order of Ecclesia was the name, if I remember, if I'm saying it correctly. You actually had weapons you could put on both hands for your character, so you could actually like just mash up weapons together like that, super fast, alternate between the two of them. Pardon me. There should be a save point pretty soon. I think this is a save point. Nope, not here. I'm getting confused on where I'm at. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. I went down for a second, I read it wrong. Oh, got lucky on that. Super lucky. Alright. Not too big of a problem. This is a save right here. And cured. Cured by the magic of saving. Not really, but... It's weird, so it seems to have nullified it, but it's not taking any damage, but I'm still flashing like I'm poisoned. Alright, now we're gonna go fight a boss. If you've ever played the Saturn version of this game, which is quite interesting, like when you get to the crosses there, like, you know, you save and the coffin forms, it doesn't form a perfect cross, and people are like, oh, it's because they suck as programmers. Not really. The Saturn ran on different resolution than the PlayStation, so when they ported this game over, it didn't quite fit right, so things had to be stretched in order to make it fit around the Saturn resolution. So certain things got messed up, like those, like the cross shapes and so forth. But then other things like the game slowing down, that was just not programming well. That was bad programming. Ooh. There we go. And DED. Like I said, it's like no budget. But it's got a lot of old humor to it, though. It's like the Life Lady in the start is reference to Zelda 2 prostitutes, because, let's face it, that's what they really were. The Life Ladies were just prostitutes. Game, come on. There we go, save point. Later on in the movie, they're like infiltrating the main bad guy's headquarters, like hideout. They're like, okay, so far we've gone through like 8 levels of like extreme platforming, having to jump over spikes and stuff. Does this mean that like Count Vile, the bad guy, has to go through this every single day to go to work to get to his office? What if his parents visit him? Do they have to do all this? It's like, it brings up all those wonderful questions that people think about, like myself, just overthink it. Headed out, ready for bed. It's cold. Have to get the fire burning hot again. Yes, indeed, it's cold through a lot of the country. That's pretty good, though. I actually got to be stopping myself pretty soon because I have a lot of appointments to get to tomorrow. Do an MRI, CAT scan, bone scan, and then nuclear imaging. It's going to be fun. So thanks for hanging out, but I will see you next time. Take it easy. Stay warm. Give me back the axe. This thing stinks. At least I don't know how to use it right. The rock is just not that great for my playstyle.
Wait a moment.
It's Maria!
You seem human, and yet, what do you here?
What do you here?
I've come to destroy this castle.
I'm so sad that this dialogue was
Then we have
replaced
the
for the
same purpose.
PSP and PlayStation 4
I'll trust you
versions.
for now. I'm Maria. Who are you?
Alucard.
Not the talkative type, I can see. Well, perhaps we'll meet again, if you live that long. Farewell.
Sentient tableware, no! Okay, can't jump above. Ah, stupid overhead. Ooh. hate this guy. Like most annoying enemy for me to fight in this entire game. You do it again! Alright, outer wall. Oh no, who would have foreseen my death? How tragic. How sad. And with that, we've reached the end of the stream for today, and of course I do want to thank everybody for hanging out. Any lurkers, Nimix showed up there, Gamora, haven't seen it before there in stream, but I think maybe you showed up a long time ago there, definitely it's been a while. Ronnie, who else showed up here? Agent Tandy, yeah, Agent Tandy showed up too, so thanks to everybody who showed up and said anything in chat or hung out for a while. It's always good to hear from everybody. I will be back streaming again maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I said, I got to be up really at the crack of dawn in order to do, I got a whole bunch of different tests for my back to see about what they need to do to get it fused, to do the proper procedure to get my back fused. So I might be streaming again tomorrow, I don't know. I will announce on my Twitter at Worsel555. Just keep an eye on it there. You don't have to follow me, but you can just bookmark it in your browser. I always post up there usually about an hour or so in advance if I'm going to be streaming and what I'll be playing. Or if I need to delay it or cancel the stream, I also post it there too. I always stream at 8:30 p.m., usually 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know when that is, just type it into Google. It'll tell you when it is for wherever it is you are in the world. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll probably, if I stream tomorrow, might have something fun planned up, something I haven't played in a long time, something I haven't done in a long time too, so we'll keep it interesting. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time.